Good morning, everybody. I am here. Whoops. No. I want my HP camera back. There we go. Hello. Who do I have here? Anybody? Well, today's been great in the sense that I figured out I got everything worked out to go live today, and now I can't get my phone to connect. I'm just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Normally it connects automatically. I don't get it. So I'm on here, but I'm trying to figure out how to get my phone connected, because that is the camera that we use to see me sew and to show you smaller things that I use on here. Yeah, I don't know. Check. Okay. My permissions are set. I do not know why. Sure, you're logged into your correct account. Of course, I'm logged in. If you're here, give me some comments that you're here. I'd love to see who's on. It looks like, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening. I honestly don't know why I cannot get my camera and my phone to connect. Okay, so I'm going to stop that one. Okay, so can you guys hear and see me? Tell me if you can. That's what I need to know. Click. I don't understand why all of a sudden this is all being weird and I can't connect my phone. I don't know if there was updates on my phone or what's happening, but it's not letting me connect. So I'm going to do my best to show you guys what I'm doing, but I'm probably not going to be able to show you direct sewing because I don't have a means for that. Hi, Mare. I'm so glad that someone's here. Last week I couldn't go live because it wasn't working. Now today I cannot get my camera to connect. So, it wouldn't be a day without that happening. And then to boot, now I have a stupid summer cold, which I'm not enjoying very much. I'm actually feeling crappy today. It's of course settling into my chest. So let's talk about what we're making this week. So everybody should have their corner units and their side units done for up to this point. And if you don't, you want to get those done because once I believe we get past this unit today, see now, and I have to figure out how to get, okay, I guess I just have to hang it in front of me because I have my background blurred. So we are making what is called, the connecting units, I think is what they called them. Let me look at something here. I'm going to add an image. There we go. Add an image and let's add that. Open. All right. And we'll wait for that to load really quick so I can just check. But so this is what we need to make today. So I'm going to talk about some steps that would be really good for you to do to make those. And then we're going to need to make a total of 16, these are called center units. So these are going to be connected to our other blocks. So we really want to make sure we get these done today. Yeah. So I just want a quick chat about, let's see here. I need to get to my notes. I want to just chat about some of the tips I want to talk about today because we're making these little star units and they're really tiny. And there are a couple things that you can do to make it easier. And so I thought we could chat about that a little bit. Okay. So we're doing stitch and flip in the corners. Okay. I want you to use starch which again will help improve accuracy. It stabilizes the fabric and reduces stretching. It's so important to not have these corner unit or these center units stretch. And it's so good to utilize that for these smaller blocks. It helps that from moving. Even when you pin and you go through on sewing, those blocks can still shift. And so you really want to do this without that happening. So I wondered, see, I was hopefully going to be able to do this much closer to myself, but I can't because I don't have the camera here. So I'm trying to hold it up to something different. And I need to find a piece of fabric. I starch so much anymore, you guys, that I don't have much that's not starch. So it's hard for me to find pieces. I don't know if you guys can see this. Like, this is not starch. Can you see that stretch on there? And then I have this tiny piece, and it's like it doesn't even move because it's starched heavily. So if you've never tried that, just try that to see what you think, okay? See if it makes a difference for you. The seams are going to just be crisper. It's easier to match your points again. Then we're going to talk about using glue again. So of course I'm using the Acorn Precision Piecing Glue. It's called Seam-Align Glue. Never use a pin again. This is my refill, and I'm using this squishy bottle because this one's really hard. And if you're a sewer like me and you cut a lot, your hands get sore, and you don't want to have to squeeze on those any more than you have to. All right. So, again, no pins needed. Let's see. Using glue will also help prevent shifting so that it's not shifting when you're sewing, just like starching will. So when you use all of that together, it makes all the difference in the world, okay? Your corners are more accurate. It saves time. Some people will think it takes more time, but I just do a process of them all together, kind of like chain piecing in a sense. I just do all one corner and then chain piece all of that, and it goes pretty quick. So I heat set it, and then I sew. All right. Let's see. Let's see here. So with glue, you're just going to use it to apply a tiny amount to it. Okay. So things that you should really watch for when you're making these is making sure they're not shifting. Your fabric isn't shifting. Always, check for your corner accuracy before you trim. So press, check the accuracy, and make sure everything's going okay before you do anything else, okay? Making sure that you need to be pressing in the right direction so you don't cut the wrong corner. So, like I said, today we're going to work with the stitch and flip corners. A little starch and a little glue may seem like small things, but they can make a huge difference in accuracy. The more accurate these units are, now the easier the entire quilt top will go together. So you want to make sure. I want everybody to enjoy this, have fun this next week, putting those together, and just getting these nice and accurate. Now, I didn't trim this block up yet. I didn't square it up because I just quick sewed it so that I had one to show you guys and that. But the other thing that I was going to talk about today is that you can either use the Acorn starch pen, and I left mine at work because I've been sewing at work too, and I left my other pen at work, but I also utilize the premium quilting starch with the brush. Now, both of the products work really well. It really is going to be a preference of what you like. I do like this brush because it covers the seam very quickly and fast, and it squeezes really easily. And it makes the blocks lay super flat. Now, you probably can't tell this. Well, maybe you can. So my outsides are laying pretty flat, in my middle where I sewed these rows together is not lying as flat. So I'm going to utilize some of this. Let's see. I wonder if I move my this direction. Yeah, you're not going to be able to tell. All right, we're not going to do that because that looks stupid. All right. Get back to me. And I will just do this and show you, since I'm going to take this off because I can't get my stupid phone to connect. So I can't use that. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys probably just think I'm a crazy hot mess and you don't want to follow along because I'm all over the place. And of course I don't mean to be. I mean, I've been down here in the basement since 8:30 this morning getting ready for this. And yesterday I had everything prepared for the live ready, making sure I was going to be able to hit the live button, and didn't even think to check to make sure my phone was connecting so I could troubleshoot that. Now I can't. So I did that on the back. Okay. And I'm going to press this so you can see the difference that it will make if you utilize the Acorn precision pressing pen or the premium starch quilting pressing system. I sell both. And honestly, guys, like I said, I use them both. And I just happened to have that other one at work, and I left it there over the weekend and forgot to bring it home because I was using it. So I'm like, oh, well, I have this other piece, so I'm going to use that. All right. So I did that. Now look at the difference once I put that on there. Isn't that amazing? That makes all the difference in the world when you go to have this long armed. Your long armor will be so appreciative of that being so nice and flat. So when you starch, do you starch all fabric before cutting? Yes, Mary. Sorry, missed that comment. Absolutely. I don't starch like in big chunks. I will, like fat quarters, I leave together and I definitely starch them all. I let them dry overnight and then I iron the next day, and I mist with some water just to activate a little bit. The other thing I want to mention about starching, it doesn't matter what kind of starch you use, whether you're going to use Terrell Magic or you're going to use the Acorn starch or these other starch pens and things like that that I use, or you're going to use the faultless stuff. Whatever, I'm not here to begrudge anybody for whatever you use. Just starch, whatever brand you use. Just personally like the quilting type ones. I don't buy the Walmart stuff, but if that's what you need to use and that's what you can afford, that's what you should buy. Because starching makes all the difference. So, couple things. You need to, if you don't want to let it set overnight and you want to move on, I starch everything in, and move everything kind of aside, or a lot of times I will lay things on top of each other because then it soaks up in the layers and then I spread them out. But you really want to make sure that at minimum you let your starch soak for 15 minutes so it soaks into the threads and it doesn't gum up your iron. I have really been messing with that and really playing with the time that you need and the different starches that it's so important to do that with. If you don't, you will gum up your iron terribly. And you have to clean that off and do that. Honestly, I mean, yeah, you let it sit for a few seconds or whatever. But I really did some research to figure it out because I have gone through so many irons and I don't like that. I mean, I've bought quite a few expensive ones and I don't want that to happen. And one of the ones that never, ever gums up if you use it is my Aliso, whatever you call it. My MP3 Pro, which I sell, love the iron. It never gums up. You don't put a lot of water in it. And that's the other thing I've been really kind of exploring is like what kind of water I should use in my iron. And I have now chosen to not add water to any iron that I own anymore. I just have a bottle of water and a bottle of Best Press and a bottle of whatever Terrell Magic or Acorn stuff. I actually have like 4 bottles and I use them all differently because they all do different things for me. So take that in mind when you are doing things to not let your iron hit that stuff until it's at least sat 15 minutes. Overnight is always better to just, especially for a big quilt that you got to cut out. Okay. That's me. So anyways, let's talk about what we're going to do today. I'm so mad that I can't get my phone to connect, you guys. It's so unbelievably frustrating. I'm going to look at my phone. Since you open Chrome, don't use the StreamYard link inside. I'm not. Okay, open Chrome directly to and go to StreamYard. Check permissions on your S24. I know. Make sure my camera allows. Yes. See, and my phone had an update, and I do feel like that since that update, that is my problem. I'm going to check one thing before connected devices. Yep, all of that's connected. Search, camera, settings. Everything is on. I didn't do anything, nothing. I don't know. Okay, permissions. Camera. Okay. Well, it's not going to let me. I don't know. I've restarted everything and I hoped that that would help, but so far, no luck. All right. Is there anybody else on today? And if you're not, it's okay. This is going to be recorded. It'll go up on my Facebook, but also on my YouTube because Facebook deletes them, which is why I've had to try some new things. So we are doing these center units, and we are using the aqua or whatever color you chose, and the white 1 1/4 inch squares. So we need to gather the 1 1/4, the 2 by 2 3/4, and the 2 by 2 unit. So we are going to sew these together, and I am going, excuse me, I'm going to use my glue. So I got this glue right here, and I am just doing a corner. Okay. Just putting a couple of dabs in this corner is all I'm doing. And of course, you guys are not going to be able to see it because the camera's not on this. But I got this glued to the corner, and there's just a couple of things that I want to talk about when I do this. And then that's all we're going to do today. And I'm going to get off and sew and let you guys sew. I don't think I could talk for an entire hour today because I have this stupid cold. All right, so I'm heat setting the corner quickly because I know that that helps. And you know what? It doesn't matter about the glue, guys, because the glue is going to go away regardless. All right. So I do have a leader because I really want to make sure that I don't have like a little swishy tail thing or whatever you want to call it on the back side of it or whatever. Let's see here. Notes. I wanted to get rid of that for a moment. There we go. All right. So here. So I'm going to go when I've done these stitch and flip or those units, other units in the past, I go slow because these are so small. You don't want to do this fast. Okay. I slow way, way, way down. And I literally go next to my line that I've drawn. Because you don't want, for me, if going right on the line works for you and you've got that sweet spot figured out, then do that. I just don't. So I just go on the side of the line. So whatever direction it's going to stitch and flip. So these are going to go to the right always for me. That's what I want. I'm going to flip this little section back, and I want to press it before I cut. It's so important that you press before you cut, because I want you to look at each of those units and make sure that that white unit is going to come back all the way to cover the blue. Okay. And you see that it comes all the way back. You can't see any blue in that corner, right? Sticking out. So I just want to make sure of that. Okay. So once I check that and I know that that's back, then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim that away. Okay. Just because it's faster for me, I just use a scissors, and some people save these. I am not. So then I trim that away and we're going to do the next one. Okay. So I'm going to put another dab of glue in this corner and see how that goes. Okay. And as I'm going to show you just a couple more things that I like to do when I'm doing these. I'm so sorry. My nose is just crazy today. This, it's the last thing I need to have a stupid summer cold. All right. So I used a little dab of glue. I heat set it. It literally took me seconds. Like I said, I would do an entire section of these in one corner and do them all at the same time and then stop and chain piece them and do the same thing again. It goes fast and it's good. So again, I did this corner now. I'm going to fold this back. It's off. So I'm sure you're not going to be able to see this, but it's off. And so that means I'm going to take it out and I'm going to fix it, because I am telling you, if you are working on precision piecing and you're trying to improve what you're doing, then it's important to do that. Now, sometimes if it's, you're just about to the end and you're like, oh gosh, I'm not going to change that. That's okay. Been there, done that many times. I've had to just leave it because I'm just kind of tired of doing it or whatever. So anyway, one of the things too that I have found for myself in sewing, quilting, piecing, whatever you want to call it, I am not fond of a quilt with the same block in the whole entire thing. So for me to do this plaid, I really got to like the plaid. And I do, but it's boring to me. I like the challenge of the different blocks. I like the different sizes. I like the different cutting. And I really like patterns that don't have you cut the whole quilt out and they do it in like blocks. I just really like that. To me, it's just so much better, and it's more, I don't know, it just really helps improve sewing and accuracy and all of that. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do that on occasion. I have to, what the heck? Well, I don't know why you did that. You're not broken and you are still threaded. Weird. Sometimes my machine has a mind of her own. It says stuff like that when it's not really true. Yeah, that didn't even sew that. What the heck? What is going on? Okay, there we go. Oh no, I just missed that for some reason. Must have been because of, here we go. I just really like to do that. Now, I mean, like I do 3-yard quilts and things like that, so I can do something, but I will never make a quilt for my bed again that's all the same block. And I have a beautiful quilt on my bed that I love. I do. And it's all the same block, but I so enjoyed the Summer Garden Sew Along, or the Flower Farm Sampler. Sorry, we did do the Summer Garden one too last year. That was so fun. All right, guys, it's still off of a little tiny bit, but guess what? I don't care. I'm not going to change it. So like, I don't know. Can you tell right here? It's off just a little bit, but I'm not changing it again because I just have to move on. Okay. So I'm going to show you one more thing about gluing, and then I'm going to move on. So this is the center of this, and I am going to glue this because, I think that this just holds better, and I don't want this shifting, because when it shifts too, it also will change the size of what I'm doing. And I don't like that. So, okay. The other thing that I really like, so I'm going to use glue for this whole project. You're not going to not see me use glue. If I'm doing these little babies, I want them to come out precise. you know, I really am working towards that. And there's different ways that, you know, you can do that. I mean, you can do that by pinning. You can do that by, there's another method where you make the blocks a little bit bigger in everything you do, and then you square them up and move them down or whatever. And that's good, but I don't want to do that. I want to do the other stuff. Okay. The other thing I want to make sure everybody checks as you're sewing, please be mindful of your seam allowance. Okay. Oh, yay. I'm so glad somebody's watching on YouTube. Wonderful. Please make sure you keep an eye on your seam allowance, because if your seam allowance gets off in one section, it's going to give you problems. So okay. Yep. All right. Mary, I hope I answered that well enough for you. If you have more questions, just send me a message. Okay. By the way, I'm going to be in Sioux Falls next weekend. So hopefully, we can chat a little bit about that, but yeah. Anyways, I just cut some threads off. I'm checking my seam allowance, and I am a scant quarter, and that is what I want. I'm going to stay the same on my entire machine. So if you have a Janome, to get a scant quarter, at least one of the like Skyline series, Memory Craft series, what's other series, like the Continental or the M's, the M8, M6, M7, M8, all of those. I changed to 9 and 2.0 for my stitch width, because I don't want 1.5 or 1.8. That's just way too small. All right. So I did that, and there we are. And this is the center of that. So I'm going to continue to work on this today and my other stuff. I encourage all of you to keep working on it today. It's so important to stay caught up as best you can for this. If you are looking for any of the products I talked about, of course, I have them all. I have Roxanne's Glue Glazed. I have and all of my products by Acorn, which there's starch, there's glue. You can get that at the store. I also carry these fine line applicators with a tip, and then it has that very great stainless steel tip. Plus the lid has a stainless steel tip in there that goes down inside of that and keeps that nice and clean. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, of course you can put a pin in there and it will clean it out. You know, you can do that. But man, I tell you what, this makes all the difference in the world. It works so good to do that. So I do that. Okay, so quickly, last premium quilting starch and the brush. I have these both. Okay, so this is called the starch brush. So if you're looking for it and you want to look for it on my website, that's what it's called. All right. So next Saturday, I am going to be gone in Sioux Falls. I'm going to go watch Hendrick's race. I'm going to do my video for next week, and I'm going to pre-record it, and then it'll go live, or it'll get it'll get posted on Saturday at 10 a.m., but it will be pre-recorded. Okay. So just want to let you guys all know that I'll be gone. But I will get that done and put all my tips out there that way. So I'm going to hop off. Everybody have a great day and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to continue sewing and go take some more cold medicine. All right. Happy sewing, everyone.